Hi guys, welcome back to my channel. I am finally doing my April wrap up. I feel like I'm getting this up really late, but I've been super busy the past few weeks, so I'm finally getting around to doing this for you guys. Yeah, I wanted to go over all of the books that I read in April, give you guys my thoughts, reviews, ratings, all of that. So I did get through 5 books in the month of April, which is not a ton, but it's a good amount for me, so I'm very happy with that number. I feel like the first half of the month I read a ton because I did a 24-hour readathon, so if you haven't seen that video, go watch that video. But yeah, so I did that. I read a bunch of books all at once, and then I was reading another book that took me a long time, and then I kind of fell off and didn't read as much towards the end of the month. But either way, I got through 5 books in the month of April, and let's go ahead and talk about them. Okay, so the first book of the month, I started off by reading Powerless by Elsie Silver. I started reading this actually in March, but I mainly finished it in April. This is the 3rd book in the Chestnut Springs series. This tells the story of Jasper and Sloane. If you don't know, the Chestnut Springs series tells the story of a bunch of different brothers. It is a found family and they live on like a ranch. Jasper is a longtime friend of the brothers. He has basically grown up with them because his family life is just not that great, so he grew up with the Eden brothers, and Sloane is the Eden brothers' cousin. A lot of times in this book they reference that they are family, and obviously they're not technically family, but they did grow up together. They were super close. So yeah, that was one thing about this book that was kind of strange. But so he is a professional hockey player and then she is a ballerina. They are both very good at what they do, pretty high up in doing that. All of this that I'm saying is on the back, by the way, so it's not any spoilers. The story starts off with Sloane about to get married, and then she ends up finding something out, so she calls off the wedding, and Jasper and Sloane kind of run away together and basically try to figure out their lives and what they're doing. So that is kind of the premise of the story. You're basically following them as they're away from home, like road tripping, traveling. I did enjoy the story. It was extremely spicy, and if you know me, I don't love a ton of spice. I do like a little bit, but this was crazy. Like, it went on for like 50 pages of pure spices, and although like obviously it's a romance book, I don't know, it was just very intense and it wasn't my favorite thing. So there is that. Let me see what else I wrote down. So overall I rated this 4 out of 5 stars, but I said that until like the last 20% it was about a 3-star rating, just because I wasn't loving it, and then towards the end I did end up liking it a little bit more. I don't exactly remember why, because I read this like a month ago, but that is what I have in my notes. Overall, I rated this 4 out of 5 stars. I think that's kind of where my range is with the Chestnut Springs series. I think Flawless, which is the first one, is still my favorite one overall. Yeah, that is my rating on this one. Again, childhood friends to lovers, so I love that trope. So also in that 24-hour readathon, I was listening to Things You Save in a Fire by Katherine. I'm pretty sure I mainly listened to this. I don't think that I actually like opened it and read it at all. But this was the very first Katherine book that I read, and I've been really wanting to read her books just because I've heard so many great things about her as an author. I believe this is a contemporary romance literary fiction novel. Lots of different genres here, but this is about a woman. Her name is Cassie. She is a firefighter and she is living in this town. Something happens in the town, so she has to move away to a different town, and she actually moves into the town that her mom is living in because her mom is sick. So she goes to kind of care for her and also start a new job there, but her and her mom don't have like the best relationship, so she's trying to care for her but also, you know, figure out things with her relationship with her and stuff, and also starting this new job. So with this new job also is that all the people on the new fire department are all men, and they've never had a woman firefighter before, so they obviously are a little judgmental and aren't appreciative and like welcoming to her, I guess. The main theme of this book is forgiveness. It talks a lot about forgiveness. Obviously it discusses a lot of healthcare because she is a firefighter, so it takes you throughout the scenes of her going to fires and, you know, saving people, all of that. I thought that it was a really good story, a lot of life lessons in it and things to take away. I didn't love the ending. I don't know how to say it without spoiling it, but I didn't love it as much as I thought I would. But overall it was still very cute, and like I said, the events that happened turned into like really good life lessons and just things to take away from the story, which I feel like Katherine Center is known for based on what I've heard other people talk about her. I like this book. I rated it overall 4.25 stars. So I feel like that's pretty high. Another book that I read in that 24-hour video is The Love Wager. This is by Lynn Painter, and this is the first adult romance of hers that I have picked up. The only other book of hers that I read was Better Than the Movies. So this one is about Jack and Hallie. They had like a little one-night thing. They don't talk again. She kind of sneaks out. So I believe her best friend puts her on the dating app, and then his sister puts him on a dating app. So they eventually find each other on this dating app. They make this wager of who can find love first, because they are both like struggling to find love. They both go on separate dates, and if the date doesn't work out, then they decide to go like get dinner or do whatever together. It's like a little competition. It is also a fake dating. There's a fake dating part in this. I loved the first 3/4 of this book. I thought that it was going to be a 5-star, honestly. I was like, this is a really good book. I love the tension between the characters. And then we got towards the last half/quarter of the book, and I was just so disappointed. I don't want to spoil anything, but just the way that the main characters handled things, specifically the female main character, I was not enjoying at all. I feel like things could have been handled so much differently, and different things could have been said. It was a little bit cheesy. I feel like Lynn Painter's books are pretty cheesy as it is. There's so many things in here that I was kind of annoyed about, but I don't want to give anything away. There was just no like emotion behind it. I feel like it was just not emotional. Like I didn't connect in the last part of it. Overall, I rated this 3.75 stars. Honestly, I'd probably give it like a 3.5 just to make it simple. I thought it was cute. I just didn't love the ending. So alrighty, then we got into aimof. So this is the second book in the acotar series. I loved this book so much. I actually finished this in a vlog, so you can kind of see like my raw reaction of the ending of this. I think it was my Sunday reset video. First of all, this book is so big. So this actually took me probably 2 weeks to finish. If you don't know, acotar is a fantasy series. I'm not even gonna try to explain it. Literally just look it up because it's so confusing if you are interested in knowing the premise. Okay, so the first half of it, I was like very confused just because there's so much more world building than was in the first one. I feel like it was just very confusing, like all of the politics of it. I literally had to reread every single sentence like 2 or 3 times to actually fully understand it, because I didn't want to just skim over and not fully understand what was going on. I just loved it so much. I felt like I was on the edge of my seat the whole time. There was so many different shocks towards the end of the book. I literally, every like 10 pages, I was like, oh my god, like what the heck is going on? Main characters in the story I loved. Farah is literally a badass. That's all I have to say. I loved it. I don't want to say too much because obviously it's the second in a series. Overall, I give this 4.75 stars. This was almost a 5-star for me. So I'm so excited to continue into the 3rd book this month. And then I read Before We Were Strangers by Renee Carlino. I had such high hopes for this book because so many people commented that they loved it. They thought it was such a good book. So I decided to start it, and I think this was on my TBR, but I also ended up using it for another video too. So this tells the story of Matt and Gracie, and they were like college lovers, and then they don't end up seeing each other. I want to say, yeah, 15 years. So that's a very long time. I think Matt lives in New York City, and he works for National Geographic. So also another thing, I think his ex-fiance works with him at National Geographic and is now getting remarried and pregnant. So they like work together. And I'm also pretty sure that his brother is like engaged or married to another one of his ex-girlfriends. I could be a little bit wrong on that, but like there was like 2 different things and I was like, what the heck is going on? But anyways, so one day Matt is taking the train. He sees like the back side of this girl, and she like turns around and he realizes that it's Gracie, the girl that he hasn't seen in 15 years. Doesn't find her because like the train goes off. I think he like tells his coworker or something, and his coworker tells him to post on Craigslist. I guess on Craigslist there's like this little posting thing that you can make if you found someone but you have no way to contact them to try to find them. So he does that, and so what he writes is on the back of the book here. It's like a little letter, and he's like, I saw you and I haven't seen you in 15 years, but we were lovers. They end up reconnecting, and it basically like goes through how they met in college. So in the beginning it's present time, and then all throughout the book it's past tense, and then at the end I think it's present time again. We get 2 different timelines of now and then. Guys, I was loving the beginning of this. Again, loved the characters, loved the tension. Then we got towards probably halfway, maybe not even halfway, I felt like I was literally reading a YA book. Not even like a YA, honestly. Like, the writing in this was not good. I am so sorry to say that. I'm so sorry to Renee Carlino, but what? I just felt like the writing had zero emotion, zero depth to it. It was so straightforward, so like cookie cutter. I just felt like the characters were literally in like middle school communicating. So the notes that I have are, the writing became very childish and almost amateur. Like, I just felt like this was the author's very first book. There was just no emotion given behind. It was like, this is what happened, and this is what happened, and this is what happened. I wanted to DNF at 180 pages, which I think is like halfway. And also another thing, I said that there was like 2 different timelines. I felt like the timelines were just so spread out that I honestly forgot what happened in the beginning. When we eventually got to present tense again in that last half of the book, I was like, what even happened like in the beginning? I just felt like the timelines were so spread out that I wish she would have done it differently, where it was like kind of back and forth, back and forth. I feel like you guys are gonna disagree with me in the comments, but I just did not enjoy the writing of this at all, honestly. Storyline was okay. It wasn't even anything that good. Like, I was just expecting so much more that I did not get. So I rated this 2.5 stars. I wanted to like it so badly, but I did not like it at all. That is my thoughts on this. I'm so sorry to anyone who loves it. I wonder if this is her first book. No way this book came out in 1989. It literally says this book came out in 1989. That's crazy. But she didn't rewrite another book until 2013. And then the last book, I guess I'll kind of add in here, but I did start listening to Spare, which is Prince Harry's book that he wrote. I've been listening to this on Spotify. I'm honestly not even that far in. Let me see. I'm only 13% into this book, so I'm literally not far at all. I've been listening to it for a while. Yeah, I've been liking it so far. I honestly don't really know anything about the royal family, so it's just very interesting to listen to. Okay guys, I think that is all for this video. I feel like it was kind of short just because I did not read, like, I only read 5 books. You guys, I'm like really nervous because summer is coming and I feel like I have not been reading that much recently, and it's just very, like, it's just stressing me out for some reason. But I'm trying my best to stick to my TBR, but I'm also struggling with, like, I also have so many books that I want to read personally, and I'm just like struggling to find a balance. I feel like these were all books that were on my TBR, so I feel like I did really good in that way. But I also have like so many new books and just books that I am not picking for like my TBR jar videos that I want to read. I don't know, because I don't want to do the jar videos and then like not read any of them, because I feel like that's just wrong. But anyways, I hope that you guys enjoyed this video. If you did, be sure to give it a thumbs up and subscribe to my channel, and I will see you guys in my next video.